Hey Mallards, it is Wednesday and I did play a little bit of the Monster of the Week game tonight, and I'm just going to recap it because everybody else logged off the call before I thought about making them recap for you. So we have traveled to a town in Georgia where we discovered a poor young man who has gone blind. And he told us this harrowing tale of this girl named Iris that he's in love with. And Iris lives in the woods just outside of town with her mother. And her mother is very overprotective, like super helicopter mom. She's a nurse who works in town, but she's like homeschooled Iris this whole time and doesn't really let her go anywhere or anything. And is just super, super overbearing and overprotective. But Jason came back from a tour, so like Iris is like 19 and Jason is now like 23-ish. He's an army vet and he came back from his tour overseas and was just like wandering through the woods and heard Iris singing and was like, wow, she's really pretty. And so they started talking and now they're like hanging out and having a good time. And mostly keeping it secret from Iris's mom because, like I said, overprotective and kind of overbearing. But then, naturally, as is bound to happen in situations like this, Iris's mom finds out about them. She gets real upset. Iris runs away from home, and our charming army vet Jason goes chasing after her, and he ends up getting knocked out. And when he wakes up, he's blind. And yes, it took me this long to realize we were in Rapunzel this week. I'm not proud of that moment. I actually had sort of had an inkling when he talked about her mom keeping her like in the house in the woods all the time. But it wasn't until I realized that he got blinded by trying to find her that I realized that we were hardcore in Rapunzel. So, naturally, Petra, the grifter, and Apple the mage, and CB, who is currently going by Spaghetti Marinara, interviewed Jason, talked to him for a while, and then convinced him not to go with us, which may have been a mistake because the army vet may have actually been useful despite his lack of sight. We'll think about that later. I'm not sure. But we ventured into the woods where we promptly ran into Rapunzel's mother. She's got a magical amulet around her neck. We definitely are going to need that if we're going to possibly defeat her. But instead of trying to get that, although I did consider just hitting her with a baseball bat and moving on, we sweet-talked our way into letting us into the forest. And then we wandered around for a while until we found a cave. And in that cave, we found Iris. And now we have the daughter, but we have a whole magic mother to deal with, possibly a very powerful witch, wearing an amulet that she draws her power from, and we've got going for us a cave. But it is on the edge of a cliff, which, as Apple pointed out, is a prime space to, drop kick an evil witch off of. So tune in next week to see if we can defeat an evil witch. We might be able to. I was on fire with my rolls this week. I persuaded everyone to do exactly what I wanted them to do, and it was magnificent. So Petra can talk anyone into anything, but she probably can't defeat a witch. She can't actually hit things. Maybe she could convince the witch to give us her amulet. I don't know what could convince her to do that. The possibilities are endless. We'll have to figure out what we do next week. I'll see you tomorrow.